very simply, just give a number. Ideally, how much money should your man make a year, Heather?
8 figures.
8 figures.
Ideally.
Okay, so that's $10 million.
Yeah.
Minimum.
Ideally.
Okay,
sure.
ideally. Gotcha. So,
I mean, ideally or realistically? You asked
well,
ideally.
let's go realistically, since ideally is. So you want to date an
$10 million.
NBA.
You know what? Add a couple million on that.
Yeah, you want to date an NBA player, but like the best NBA player, because most NBA players make like $3 million. You want to date the quarterback for the Miami Dolphins.
No, I don't date athletes.
Or you want to date the CEO of Amazon. All right, so athletes are out?
Athletes are out.
Okay, so athletes are out. So
Sorry,
all your
guys.
$10 million just got cut in half.
Is this always, or is this a new?
I've dated athletes, and it's just not my thing. So I've tried it, and it's just personal preference.
Okay.
Nothing against you guys.
So
but
ideally,
not for me.
respect, $10 million. Fucking shit. By the way, what percentage of men do you think make $10 million a year?
I'm sure it's a very small
Give
percentage.
me a number.
I'm not good with numbers.
You,
I don't know.
1 through 10. I mean, you.
1 through 10. I mean,
1 through 100, like percentage.
it's probably like 1/10 of a percentage.
0.00001%. All right, you got this thing, girl. Okay, that's ideally, realistically,
I mean,
what would you do with?
realistically, I think 6 figures.
Okay,
is-
minimum.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. Respect. So you just went from 100,000. You went from 10 million to 100 grand.
Okay, well, I'm just, you said ideally. Who doesn't want ideally the most amount? Come on.
Pearl, ideally / realistically, how much money should your man make a year?
I think ideally for me would be like 70, 80.
70?
70, 80.
That's ideal?
What the not
No.
million.
Oh, I
70 million a year
That's
or lose my
crazy.
number, homie.
I don't know where, like, girls on my show say this all the time, like 6 figures up. Like, I have never thought I was going to date a guy that made 6 figures.
Why?
I don't.
You make
Does
6
your dad
figures
make
now.
more than 6 figures?
Yeah.
So don't you want to give your kids the life that you've had?
We grew up pretty frugal. Like, we made a lot of money, but we like.
You had a slide in your backyard.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I grew up
slide.
on fuel assistance and welfare. There's a very
Did the
big
slide
difference.
go into the pool or just onto grass?
In the pond.
Oh,
you're
rich.
that is the sign of wealth right there. Because a slide just onto the grass,
Or like,
it's like grow
think
up.
about it. You do sports. You've been able to travel. There's a lot of things that your family like has been able to provide. $70K, like it's hard to send your kids even on an AAU team.
Yeah. Okay, so the question is, because are you getting that number because there's a study out there that says $70,000 is the baseline that creates happiness, and anything above that is more materialism and consumerism. Is that where you're getting that number?
No, I got the number because it's a little more than what I used to make at my sales job.
Okay.
So it's just like, that's what I used to make, like roughly 50K.
Okay.
So you said ideally, like honestly,
Right.
I was just thinking the same job that I used to have.
Interesting.
I mean, like I
So
did
what would
good
you
on-
say to someone who's saying, Pearl, you're crushing it right now. I assume you're making way more than 70,000. What would you say to the people out there that it's like, come on, Pearl, you're selling yourself short. Do better.
I mean, how do I put
think
it?
you
Like,
are.
I mean, how do I put it? Like, sure, if that happened, like, great. I just don't think it's like that realistic. I mean, it's such a small percentage of guys that make that much money. Like, I think it would be unrealistic of me to think, oh, this guy has to make more money than me.
Okay. Well, I'm going to give you some numbers in a second as far as like what men make and what percentage of men make. But let's go down the line here, and then I'll give you some numbers. Ideally / realistically, how much do you want your man to make?
Ideally, we're on the same page, girlfriend.
10 million.
Ideally, I would like a successful entrepreneur who is making more money than me. We did discuss, because we were on the pregame, so tune into her podcast, what like my lowest would be, and I think I said 120 or 150.
Okay. So minimum baseline
minimum.
is 6-figure man. Minimum.
Yeah.
Okay. How about you, Emily?
Ideally, I love where my ladies' heads are at. Let's be a little delusional, you know? I'd say at least 10 million. You know what? Fuck it. Let's make it 50 mil a year, ideally.
So you
I
guys
want
are
2 slides.
comfortable. You guys are comfortable with being delusional.
Absolutely.
I'm not delusional. I've dated a guy whose house was 8 figures.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's just,
Okay.
you know, I know it's
Yeah.
out there.
You're
It's
not-
out there.
it's out there.
It's out
Okay,
there.
How about
We
this? How
talk
about
to
this?
make money.
You're not delusional because you've done it before. Have you ever dated a guy who makes 10 million a year?
Oh, please. I've dated brokies.
Okay. So maybe you're delusional and she's not?
Yeah.
And you're embracing that.
I'll stay delusional, honey.
Wow. Okay,
Yeah.
So realistically,
yes, realistically now.
I think on Pearl's podcast we did talk about this minimum for if it's a single family provider.
Yeah.
I would want my husband to be making 120, 150 around there.
Got it. Okay. So there's realistically, we're in the 6 figures, 70K category. Delusional status, I need this guy making 8 figures, 10, 20 million bucks a year. Okay. Now, if that guy makes 10, 20 million dollars a year, let's go there for a second. How comfortable would you be if he cheated on you every once in a while? Not all the time, but once a year. Heather, I love you, baby, but I'm going on a business trip. By the way, I made $10 million this year. So you like your G-Wagon that you're driving.
I mean,
you like the mansion.
That's how it is.
So you're okay with that?
I agree. That is how it is. But
Ooh.
there's a payoff for everything.
So you are comfortable with it.
I'm not comfortable with it. It's not ideal if we're speaking idealistically. But
Once a year, you'll deal with it though.
If I'm driving a G-Wagon, I'd rather cry in a G-Wagon.
Yeah.
What's the saying? I would rather cry in a G-Wagon.
So once a year, what about 10 times a year? What about once a month?
I mean, it all depends on the situation.
He's now making $20 million a year. You have 2 G-Wagons.
If they're in my name,
One for you and one for your assistant.
Name, sure.
Wow.
Okay.
Guys, make your fucking money. You'll date Miss Montana, cheat on her as much as you want, but you got to make $10 to $20 million a year.
Yeah, I would
Okay.
need an allowance. I would be like, put money in stocks for me, like start a company for me, like little things on the side where I'm making money,
Okay.
and if you cheat on me,
Now flip it. The dude making 70 grand a year, or even
Fuck
100
no.
grand a year,
No.
Oh, you
that-
got
is he
That
allowed
guy-
to cheat on you?
No, that guy will treat you better. So it's a
Who's
balance.
gonna treat you better?
The guy that makes less money. Because
So would you
it's
rather?
false.
Would you rather?
False.
Would you rather the guy that makes $120 a year but treats you great, doesn't cheat on you, respects you, or the guy that makes $10 million a year, probably treats you okay, but definitely cheats on you, but you're driving a G-Wagon?
Just 'cause he
Which would you pick?
doesn't cheat
I
on
mean,
you.
it depends on the guy. Ideally, I want somebody that I can have fun with. That's really important to me, that we get along, because I view marriage as, it's a 50-year-long conversation. So if you're somebody that I can have a good conversation with, that's what's most important to me. So if we can have fun together, have a good conversation, travel, and just have a good time, that's my priority. So it depends on the person.
Wow.
That was beautiful.
This is why men need to make money, because girls just want to have fun.
Yeah.
Fun costs money. Men need to make money because men want women, and women want fun,
But men are
and fun
making
costs
less
money.
money.
And guys need to make money because men want women, and women want fun, and fun costs money, and that's just how it goes. We're gonna do a whiteboard episode on that, right,
Yes,
Nat?
yes.
Girls just want to have fun. You were saying, what were you saying about we were talking about how delusional you are.
Oh.
Continue. You're saying that the guy that
So
makes
if he's
10, 20
making
million,
10
he could do
million?
whatever he wants. Can he do any wrong? He
No.
could cheat on you? Anything?
No, he still has to be accountable to me. I'm
Why?
still
He's
his
giving
wife.
you an allowance and you're driving a G-Wagon. Why is he
Okay.
still accountable?
and
He's getting this pussy.
I'm raising his children.
So he's getting that pussy? So what do you have, like a magical
is.
pussy that like has leprechauns flying out of it?
Listen,
like
I honestly
What?
do. You should hit up my
Sell
exes
them
and
a
ask.
dream.
Yeah.
I made
This
a
is what I say when I say women want to be sold a dream. You want
Pearl,
a rich
weigh
guy
in
that
on this,
doesn't
Pearl.
cheat on you? Oh, come on.
Yes.
At least she gets it. She knows what rich problems come with.
I think ideally no one wants anyone to
Let's
cheat
find
on
a
them.
unicorn.
But I think a lot of women would put up with it.
But this is like the cognitive dissonance that I think men have a problem with, right? So here you are, you got freaking Miss USA over here, Miss Montana.
Montana.
I mean, I think you should have won, but I think it was stolen from you. However, so on one hand, you want a guy that you can have fun with, that treats you right, but you also want a guy that makes $10 million a year ideally, and you're acknowledging the fact that if you're making 10 million bucks, yeah, I get it. You're going to have, more money, more problems, but maybe that guy would treat you better, but he doesn't make enough money. Does it just come down to lifestyle? That like, are women, I guess, Pearl, my question to you is, are women realistic with the lifestyle that they really want versus what is the ideal lifestyle that they actually probably need? What are your thoughts?
Are they realistic with the lifestyle
Yeah,
that they
like
want?
these women are obsessed with, not this woman, but women are obsessed with lifestyle. I've heard you talk about this before. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, women marry a lifestyle. Because who's the first one gone when he loses his job? Her. That's like one of the
Peace.
number one indicators that you're going to get divorced is if he loses his job. So that's why they say like women can't love in the same way that like men can love, because once you lose what you have, like a lot of times women leave.
This is such a good point out there.
But why
men fall in love, like ideally, like ideologically, like romantically, because there's no strings attached. I don't care, baby. Like, I don't care what you do. I don't care what you make. I don't care what your career is. I love you. Whereas women are like, I love you, but I also love your mansion, your house, your cars, even if you have kids or whatever.
And I think
ideal lifestyle.
And I think the older a woman gets, the harder it is for her to genuinely love. Like, there are some girls that are ride or die.
So if you like that clip, click right here to watch another, or if you want to watch the entire Soscast, click right here.